There was no plan for studying. There was a plan for soccer.
You are gunning for the top.
Always, that's what you want. It's hard because like you think you're good enough and you want to showcase yourself, but like you don't get the opportunity. I remember calling my mom and I'm like, Mom, I want to go back home. Like I don't want to be here. And I remember just one moment I was like very overwhelmed and I had to go to the locker room, bathroom, and I just stood and looked at myself in the mirror and I was crying. Never felt like this before in my life. If you would have told me at 17, 16, even like 8 years old, I'd be retired right now, I would tell you there's no chance. How am I going to make money if I don't play soccer? If I don't play soccer?
Welcome to Unplannable, the podcast for people whose lives did not go according to plan or they were not supposed to succeed, and they're killing it anyway. Join me for the behind the scenes of how people got amazing jobs and careers, even though they didn't go to the perfect school, they didn't choose the perfect major, they didn't have the perfect job after college, and honestly, they kind of didn't know what they were doing, but they figured it out as they went. I'm your host, Gina Godhill, and I was voted most likely to drop out of college. And I did. I also got fired and laid off before I was hired to be the head of growth and marketing at Duolingo, built my own venture capital firm since, met a president at the White House, worked on a presidential campaign, and I'm now building my own venture-backed startup. Feel like everyone else has a map, but you don't? Great, you're in the right place. No plan, no problem. Welcome to Unplannable.
Jake Rozhansky, thank you so much for being on the Unplannable podcast.
Thank you for having me, Gina.
It's a pleasure. I want you to introduce yourself to our audience as if you were perfect, like just highlighting the perfect moments of your life as if like everything just happened by magic, which is like how most people portray themselves.
Okay, so I grew up in Maryland, played soccer my whole life, ended up getting a scholarship to play D1 soccer, won a national championship, got drafted in the MLS draft, went abroad to play in Israel, then came back to the States. I played in the New England Revolution as well as New York City FC. Retired, I don't know if that's plan A or part A of me, but I retired from soccer and now I'm a financial advisor.
If you told your 17-year-old self that you were going to be working in finance at the age of 29, what would you say?
No chance.
Yeah.
I have zero chance of doing that. I have no chance of being in office, working in finance. I don't know anything. I would have told you I know nothing about stocks, investing, money.
Regrets?
I don't have regrets because if I didn't do what I did, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And now I would love to hear your B-side.
So I grew up in Maryland, like I said. My parents came here. My mom was a refugee from Ukraine, a Jewish refugee. She actually started in Brooklyn. She came here as a teenager, didn't speak any English, no money, like taking furniture from the trash. That's how she got here. Shortly after I was born, my parents separated, so I lived majority of my childhood with a single mother. When I was a baby, and I wouldn't crawl, I wouldn't stand up, sorry. I would crawl but not stand up, and my mom knew something was wrong. So she took me to a bunch of doctors, and I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. So the doctors basically told my mom, like, he needs steroids. By the time he's a teenager, he'll be in a wheelchair. And so my mom did not take that as an answer. It's like, there's no way that's happening. My mom runs her own salon. She's a manicurist and a pedicurist, has a client whose father's a doctor, and my mom talked to him and was like, you need to speak to this woman, this doctor in Maryland. You need to see her. At some point during the day, I was a baby. I don't even remember. I saw this woman and she was like, listen, he's going to be okay. Just give him Motrin. Let him try. Let him try to walk. Let him try to use his legs and let him be a kid. And so that's what we did. And instead of listening to the doctors that said to take the steroids, I lived on ibuprofen and Motrin my whole childhood. So then I started in soccer and I started playing, and I would have to sit out sometimes because I couldn't walk and my knees were hurting. But by the time I was like maybe 12 or 13, it completely went away. And that's because number one, I like worked on my strength and I was playing soccer all the time and I was just a regular kid. Yeah, and then I got to college and I went to the University of Virginia. I started there. There was no plan for studying. There was a plan for soccer. Okay. So I went on a soccer scholarship. I go in my first year and I'm like, honestly, 5'6", 120 pounds. And I remember watching the team play before I got there and I was like, oh my God, like these guys are huge. But in my mind, it was like, I'm the best player here. I will be the best player here. I just had no fear whatsoever. I was very confident and I didn't feel like to that point in my life I've ever like stumbled or failed at anything. That's what I did. And like I went in and everybody was looking at me like, who's this kid? He's like so tiny and And I went in, immediately became a starter on the team. I played, I think, almost every minute of every game. We won the national championship. I made the Final Four all-tournament team, all this stuff. And then by my second year, I decided to transfer to Maryland. My relationship with the coaching staff just went completely downhill. For soccer reasons and just like who they were as people, like to put it nicely. And I made the decision that I couldn't play for these guys anymore. I decided to transfer and go back to Maryland, which is my hometown school. And that was really tough for me too, because I really didn't want to leave. I honestly was very popular at UVA, great academics, even though I didn't really go to college for academics.
Anything you learned about like that relationship that you like, what would you have done differently?
I don't know if I would have done anything differently.
Yeah.
So basically what had happened was after we won the national championship, it was like, listen, we're all happy we won. But what we did was when we played, we just sat back and defended. This is like soccer talk. All we did was sit back and defend. And I didn't want to do that because I was like, I want to go play at the next level. This is not helping me develop. And the coaching staff was like, don't worry. Like next year it's going to be different. The next year was the same thing. They just like kind of went behind my back, and I couldn't get along with them anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so trust.
yeah, it was trust and like what they promised me versus
Right.
what actually happened.
Integrity.
Integrity and just like who they were as people.
Yeah. And the fact that I think like often like an individual's like aspirations and ambitions don't actually align with like the organization. Like they just want to win. They don't care about your personal development.
Exactly. Like we had two different minds. Like we both wanted two different things. And I think once you lose the respect, especially if you're a player, and you lose the respect for the manager, the coach, like it's hard to go back after that. And I decided to go somewhere else.
Okay. How did that go?
It was crazy because I transferred in the middle of first semester and second semester. So usually players don't do that. I mean, sometimes players do that. But on the ride home from UVA to Maryland, which is like a 3-hour drive, I had, I think, Georgetown, UCLA, Maryland, Akron, like all the big soccer schools had called me. But I was like, I'm going to Maryland. Like I'm going back to my hometown school. And I drove literally straight from UVA to Maryland, and I signed the scholarship there.
Okay. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
But back to the B side now.
Yeah.
What's not working out?
What's not working out?
After that.
So then I went pro. I was deciding whether to play in the U.S. or abroad.
Mm.
Actually, I was like, I'm going to go play in the U.S. My mind was not going playing abroad. But a team in Israel found out I was Jewish and was like, you should come, check it out. And this is Maccabi Netanya. So I went for 10 days, and on my last night there, they were like, here's the contract. We don't want you to leave. And in my mind, my agent had already told me I was getting drafted to go to Toronto FC. So I was like, I'm going to Toronto. And then they put the contract in front of me, and I was like, whoa, holy shit. Like, this is double what I'd be making. And like, I'd be living in Israel on the beach and like all this stuff. So I called my mom. I was like, what do I do? And she was like, whatever your heart tells you to do. Like, I support you no matter what. So I signed the contract, and I never went back to the States. And that's honestly where like the hardship started. So I get into Maccabi Netanya, and immediately like I go from playing every minute, every game, I'm not playing. I'm coming off the bench sometimes, and like I did well, but I wasn't playing every minute, every game. So that was tough for me. I didn't know anybody, didn't know the language, and I was just living basically on my own.
Was it lonely?
Oh, extremely. Like what they don't tell you about playing professional sports is how lonely it is. Like especially if you're not playing near home or another country. Like it's one of the toughest lifestyles. Because number one, you have to keep yourself fit and healthy. So like you're not going out, you're not eating shit, and
which is how people bond.
Yeah, and like one thing that I tell everybody that they don't realize is like you're going to the bathroom like 100 times a day. Like you're pissing all the time. And like it sounds.
I'm pregnant, so I get it.
Yeah, like it sounds funny, but it's the truth. Like I used to like obsess over my hydration, so I used to piss like 100 times a day, and it's like it's annoying. It was just tough, and like the time difference, like I had to figure out times to call my mom and like when she's available versus when I'm available, and it became really hard. And then I ended up speaking to like a mental therapist, like and that helped me a little bit, but I really missed home. And then COVID hit, and then that made everything like 10 times worse because I couldn't go out, I couldn't see people, there was no soccer.
Did you regret the decision?
I think about this all the time. In the moment, I regretted it, I think, but now looking back, I don't, because I did something different than all my friends.
And what about your career? Like, did it feel like when you were in it, did you feel like the next step, like you were, because you're on a mission, right? Like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to go to like the top.
Yeah.
Israel is not the top.
No.
So how are you thinking about that at that point? Like, what's the plan for like how you're gonna get there?
I kind of knew, this is going to be sad to say, like, I kind of knew once I got to Israel, like, I could play. I think I could have played at a little bit higher, but, like, I was a good player. Don't get me wrong. I was a very good player, but, like, I didn't have what could get me to the top. I wasn't blessed with the ability to get me all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And, like, only 0.001% of the people are.
Because it sounds like you really thought like I'm gonna kill, like I'm gonna like be super successful from like very early. At what moment were you like, oh man, I think I'm not who I thought I was, and how did that feel?
Like, when I got to Israel, I was like, I'm not playing, and, like, all my life through high school, college, I was playing every minute, every game, and everyone was telling me, like, Jake, you're an amazing player, and I was like, this has been not beneath me, but, like, I'm better than this level. I can go from college to the next level, and then to the next level, and then at some point, which was Israel for me or playing in the States for me, that was my top, and that was just, like, the truth of it, and, like, I had to be like, I'm okay with it. I had to be okay with it because there's nothing else I could do.
Yeah.
Jake, what position were you playing?
I played center mid mostly, but when I was in Israel, I played a little bit of winger, but mostly center mid.
So you're in Israel, you're lonely, you're sad, you're not playing a lot, you're starting to realize that maybe you're not gonna make it. But, things you still evolved. What happened after that?
Yeah, so first I met a girl in Israel, and we started dating. She was actually an American girl, and she happened to be from Boston. And just by chance, coincidence, the team in Boston, New England Revolution, offers to sign me. I was like, whoa, this is a great opportunity. Like, life was getting a little bit better. Like, I had a girlfriend. I was not as lonely. There was not much soccer going on, but, like, life was okay. I also took this time to figure out what happens in my life if, like, soccer doesn't go well, and, like, what happens if soccer doesn't come back. Like, who knew what was going to happen with this COVID thing? So I just started reading books about finance because I grew up, like I said, with a single mother. We didn't have any money, and I never really understood, like, why other kids on my team had money and their parents could come on the trips with them to tournaments, and my mom couldn't really do that sometimes. Didn't understand at all. I was making great money, especially for a kid right out of college, but I didn't know anything, and I was spending, like, everything I had made, and I was like, I need to learn. And then I ended up coming back to Boston, place that I'd never been before, with my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, amazing. Like, I actually signed for the second team in New England, so I wasn't on the top first team, and I was like, no problem. Again, like, this no fear mentality. I'm gonna play one season with the second team, and I'm gonna go to the first team, no question. And I had my season. I played great. I was happy. I was back where people were speaking English all the time, and, like, that made a big difference in my life. I had friends, I had a girlfriend, and when I was in Boston, I was helping my teammates financially. Like, I would go to the locker room, and they would ask me, because I had taught myself, like, investing and all this, they would ask me, like, what should I be investing? How do I open an account? And, like, that kind of stuff. So I started helping my teammates with that. Did I ever think I would ever be doing that? Never. But it happened, and then I started, like, posting about it a little bit on LinkedIn and, like, just putting myself out there a little bit more. And then a company in Boston, a financial advising company, reached out to me, and I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into, but I took the job part-time while I was playing soccer.
Were you already thinking like the soccer thing might not work out?
I was thinking, like, money-wise. Also, one thing that I thought when I was younger is, like, I'm going to be making a ton of money. I'm going to be a professional soccer player, and, like, I'll have everything I ever wanted. Not the case. Like, the money was nowhere near, like, you think NFL based on. I also wasn't playing at the top level, so I ended up getting invited to preseason with the first team the next season, my second year in New England. So it was a chance for me to, like, showcase myself in front of the first team coaching staff that I'm good enough to play for the first team. And I went, and I, like, literally didn't get a chance to even showcase myself.
Why?
They basically brought me as, like, an extra body. But I thought, like, this is preseason. Like, the games matter, but they don't. Like, it's not the regular season. So we had 3 preseason games. I played in 1, and I didn't even get a chance to play in the other 2, which I didn't understand. I didn't agree with, but it was out of my control. And that's, like, the worst feeling ever. And so I was basically in an LA hotel room, and I'll be like, fuck, I have to go to training again, like, just to be on the side of the field and, like, just to be put in for a few minutes when they need an extra body. It's hard because, like, you think you're good enough and you want to showcase yourself, but, like, you don't get the opportunity. And as soon as that happens, me and my girlfriend break up.
She only wants to play people in the first team. Or she only wanted to date people in the first team.
I guess. I mean, that's harsh, but...
I know, I'm just joking.
No, I know, but... That was, like, my first serious relationship because I grew up like when I was in high school and like all my friends were dating girls, I was like, I'm not even interested. Like, I just want to play soccer. All I want to do is focus, soccer, soccer, soccer. So I got into this relationship and I was like, we moved from Israel to Boston together. We're going to move back. I'm going to go to the first team. We're going to get an apartment in the city together. And then we're going to get engaged. And like, that's honestly like what was in my mind. Like that was plan A. We broke up and it was like the lowest of lows for me. I went from, I thought I was going to get a first team contract and I was going to preseason to not even getting a chance to play. Oh my God. I remember calling my mom and I'm like, Mom, I want to go back home. Like, I don't want to be here. The lowest of lows, like, I remember I went to training and I remember just one moment I was like very overwhelmed and I had to go to the locker room, bathroom, and I just stood and looked at myself in the mirror and I was crying. And I was looking at myself, I was like, why am I being like this? I never felt like this before in my life. The reason I think I was like that was because I blamed myself for like the breakup and like because my whole life I was like, it depends on me. Only me, nobody else, no luck. You kind of figure out when you get older, like there's a lot of other stuff involved.
There's a lot of luck.
It's a lot of luck and a lot of other stuff, a lot of other people involved.
Yeah.
I blame soccer for like the relationship, meaning like, listen, again, I couldn't go out on weekends. I was traveling half the year. I was taking care of my body. I wasn't going out all the time. And I blamed that for like the relationship ending. And that was really hard for me because I was like, if I continue playing soccer, like, am I ever going to meet somebody that likes me? And like, will I ever have a girlfriend? Like, it sounds dumb for me to say now, but it's the truth. It's honestly how I was thinking. Looking back now, I'm like, this person was just not the right person for me. And I had to figure out like a new path. And I continued to play New England for 3 years.
In the second team?
In the second team. I was the captain of the second team.
Why'd you stay?
It's a good question. I wanted to leave multiple times, and I never found the right situation to leave. I didn't want to go start over again. I started over twice by going to Israel. Actually, 3 times. I started over from UVA to Maryland, and then to Israel, then again to Boston. At the end of my second season, I met my current fiance, Raina. Then we got pretty serious, and I was like, I don't want to leave. And then I ended up in New York City. I ended up signing for New York City FC. Even when I moved to New York, the company kept me on playing and working. So I just started to look at the career and the profession differently. And I was like, maybe I can enjoy soccer in a different way without the pressure that I put on myself. After a year of playing for New York City, I was like, I think I'm ready. I'm ready to go full time into this.
But like you were, what, 28?
I was 28. Listen, I tried. Like, don't get me, I gave 100% towards this career. There's no question about it. Could I have kept playing longer? Absolutely. But like, did I want to? Did it make sense for my life? I don't think so. If you would have told me at 17, 16, even like 8 years old, I'd be retired right now, I would tell you there's no chance. I would have told you I'm playing till 35, that I'm going to be a coach, and I'm going to be in soccer my whole life. Did not happen. And I'm okay with that.
You talk about your career almost like it's like kind of a failure. But like to anyone who really wants to be in soccer, you really did make it. Like I know because I've met many of these people. They're like, Jake was in MLS. You know, like Jake got to be like a professional soccer player. Kids, most boys I know want to be professional sports players. Yeah. What percentage ends up playing in a position that allows them to make like a lot of money?
0.001.
I think people don't realize that.
Yeah. It's tough because, like, when you're playing, you love it. Like, I love playing. But I was like, long term, does this really make sense for me? Like, and my priorities changed. Like, all I thought was send me to a team in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter. I'll be making good money. I'll have a PlayStation. I'll play FIFA. And I'll go to practice. And, like, I'll be happy.
But at what point did that happen, Jake? Because, like, if you're a serious soccer player, you are gunning for the top.
Yeah, I mean, always. That's what you want. But then I think it was the point where I didn't make it to the first team in New England after that first season, where I was like, my priorities started to change, and I was like, I don't know how much longer I can keep like putting my head down and like giving this everything and sacrificing everything else. Like, you got to remember, I didn't see my family at all. I didn't see my mom for years. The only time I saw her was on FaceTime. It was just tough for me. Like, I just felt very lonely, and it was a very sad lifestyle, especially when you're not reaching the top that you think you would. And I started reading a lot of books, and I started listening to a lot of podcasts. And we spoke about this before, like off camera. Like one person I listened to a lot was Scott Galloway, which is Prof G. He really made me change the way that I think about life and jobs and employment.
What did he say?
He talked a lot about like, you don't have to like your job. And I always thought I needed to go play soccer because I couldn't sit in an office all day and like I would be miserable. And he's like, you don't have to like your job. Your job is what allows you to do the stuff that you like more. My mindset started to shift about like what I wanted in life, and like I wasn't enjoying soccer as much as I enjoyed it when I was growing up before I was a pro. It gets so different when you're a pro because there's money, contracts, politics involved. Like when I was a kid, I was just playing for pride, and like that's the
Yeah.
best. That was when it was the best.
Did you feel at least like the external perception of like what your career was like?
I only feel the external perception when I speak to other guys. And they're like, oh my God, you played with this player, you played against this player. It's cool, but like I don't look at it how I used to. I look at professional soccer very differently now. It's a part of my life, but it's not like everything about me. It's a huge deal for me. Like I did this stuff but I have a whole other life and like I have other things that I want to do and I want to be successful at.
Okay, that's when we're gonna talk about like happiness and like what things really
Yeah.
mean. But let's go into like the second part. Like it's fascinating that you didn't have like the academic experience or even like any experience. You're like, I'm just gonna read books. You weren't even that great of a student from what I understood. So like to just start picking up finance books like seems like a lot. And now like you're starting a really cool career in New York and it seems to be working out.
So another really difficult part of my life is when I actually retired because I was working for this company in New York and I'm like, do I retire now? Do I not? I was like, what the hell do I do if I retire? I'm not qualified. I was working this job part-time, like I said, but I wanted to quit every day. They'll hire you, but if you're not bringing in revenue, like you're not getting paid. So it's not like you're getting a salary. So I was like, I'm making zero money. What am I doing? How am I going to make money if I don't play soccer? So what I did was I went on LinkedIn. I started texting my friends and old teammates, like, what did you guys do when you retired? Like, who are you speaking to? And I just started putting myself in communities that were like me.
Mhm.
Luckily, nowadays there's a lot of communities for like ex-retired athletes and like helping them transition to what's next. So I actually did this program at Dartmouth's business school. It's called Tuck Next Step.
Cool.
Next Step transition to business. So I did that. I went to this program. We went to Dartmouth. It was like probably 100 people, 30 to 40 athletes, ex-Olympian, like top people, Olympians, NFL athletes, as well as military veterans.
Wow.
Which
What about models? Because like that's another career that ends really early.
there were no models here, but that is true.
Yeah.
But like I was shocked at the military veterans. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I doing in a program of military veterans? But turns out we have a lot of things similar things. Like we do this thing for years, and then all of a sudden, it's one day it stops, and we got to figure out what's next.
Mhm.
But one thing I had an issue with is I was looking for jobs, and every job I looked at, it was like, you need to go to business school, you need to have a degree in finance, you need to this, that, and I was like, holy shit, I'm not qualified to do anything. That just spiraled me, and I was like, I'm a failure. Like, there's nothing I can do outside of soccer. But in my mind, I was like, I want to prove to myself that I can do something outside of soccer. Because I always told myself I was going to go into coaching. I really don't want to go into coaching right now. Like, I want to do it on the side, but I didn't want to be a professional coach because the schedule is just worse than being a player. And I want to do something different. Like, I kind of got tired of soccer.
And maybe you wanted to make money?
And I wanted to make money. And, like,
Yeah.
again, 0.001% of coaches make money.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, like, you don't have to be qualified to do anything. Everybody's actually not qualified. I mean, this may sound a little radical. Like, even our president is not qualified to be a president, in my opinion. Like, just go out and try things and speak to people. Like, you got to get out of the house. Try to be with, like-minded people. Message people. Like, just try anything.
Message and what? Like ask them to have coffee with you?
Ask them to have coffee. I started thinking about retiring. I started messaging all of these ex-Maryland alum who played soccer. And like I was trying to get a job at Visa, for example. That was one company I was trying to get a job at. And I didn't get the job. And I was like feeling like failure after failure. And it was really, really hard. But if you speak to anybody looking for jobs now, like how many people do you hear? I think it's everybody. There's like, I applied to like 100 places and I didn't hear back from 95 of them.
That was me.
Exactly. And then 4 of them, I got a second interview. Then they didn't want me anymore. And then
Yes.
the one that worked out is the one that I'm doing now or
Yes.
that I took.
Almost a numbers game.
Yeah, it is a numbers game.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to be able to endure the failure. And I think that was an issue with me because I didn't really have any failure until I got to the pro soccer ranks. And then it kind of just hit me really quickly, like a bunch of failures in a row. This is going to sound funny. So like I do yoga in New York City all the time now because I need it for my long-term health. And I think it's good for my body and spirit. But like literally the yoga teacher said the other day was like, to be able to be strong, you have to show some weakness and some vulnerability. And like, that's like, if I look at my life, like that's exactly what happened in my life, which is I went to the lowest of lows and like life is over. I'm a failure, all that stuff, that trash in your mind. Something that I never thought I would have done, which is be a financial advisor. Like, what the hell? What am I doing in an office all day? And like,
Regrets?
I don't have regrets because if I didn't do what I did, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm not passionate about it. I don't like it at all. But like, it pays the bills and it allows me. And by the way, the more money I'm making, the more I'm liking it. It pays the bills. I work my ass off, and it allows me to enjoy soccer more. I can go to the bar now with your husband and watch the games on the weekend, and I can go play in a league where I don't have to worry as much about my hydration, that I'm peeing 25 times a day. I can just go have fun, and that's okay.
That's awesome.
And when you look back at like yourself at 17 versus now, how do you define success and happiness differently? Like, what has changed?
What it was then was like playing in front of thousands of people, and like people telling me how good I am at soccer, and like wanting to hang out with me because I'm a good soccer player, and just like the glamour of the life. Now it's more just like, what can I do to take care of me and my fiance? Like, how can I be a good man and a good fiance, soon to be husband? Just like having a good relationship with my friends and like my mom and my family, because I spent so much time away from them.
Mhm.
I kind of wanted to make up for like lost time. That's really what is like success to me. I also picked a job where I can pick my schedule. So like I can work from anywhere. I can go anywhere. I can be anywhere, which is really nice because it gives me the flexibility. If you hear any like successful person speak about like how they got to where they are, they're not doing what they thought they would have been doing. They always like, I tried this, it didn't work. Then I tried this, it didn't work. Then I met this person who like said I should do this, I should try this, and I did it, and then all of a sudden it clicked.
Yes.
And that's just how it is sometimes.
Life is unplannable. So what's unplannable moving forward for you, Jake?
This job that I'm at now is like very unplannable because you're basically starting over every single year. So like I have to figure out every year, how am I going to do this again?
But with better muscle.
With better muscle, like muscle memory. Where are Raina and I, my fiance, going to end up? Like she just became a full-time dentist. She just finished residency. So it's like she trying to figure out what's next for her. Like, where do we end up? I guess she's already planning when we have kids. That's unplannable for me at the moment.
All right, Jake, thank you so much for sharing everything. Thank you for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Awesome.